What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I currently remembered as I started doing a project that it's something I should be making a video about. So this video is the skid plate frame repair. Don't know how long it's going to take. All I'm doing tonight is cutting it out. Don't know how many different sets of clothes I'm going to wear in this video. Don't know how many problems we're going to run into. But let's get into it. Let me go over. I actually drew it out, but let me go over what it is that I got to do here. Before this video starts, I just want to let you guys know that I do make mistakes in it, so please watch it all the way through if you are planning to do this project. I'm leaving my mistakes in just because that's what I went through to get this project right, and I want to show you guys that I messed up trying to get this project right. If you guys remember this video, I'll put it in the iCards. I did that probably a year ago, and it worked for a bit. It was a like side of the road fix, I guess you could call it, to get me home. It worked for a little while, and the reason I had to do this project is because it failed again. Don't do that. Watch this video through, and I hope what I went through and learning to do this myself, because I don't think there's any videos on how to do this yourself without buying like the safety caps that are offered. I hope I was able to help some of you guys out. Here's the video. So this is my whiteboard. This is how I have written this out. So I'm gonna cut out the rod and frame, take the measurements, do all that bullshit. And then I'm basically, if you know what the safety caps are for these Jeeps, I'm basically gonna weld that up, and then I'm gonna make 5 more of these, and then weld these into the cap. So this has there will be no way that this nut will break off this like half-inch piece of steel and f off. Ryan, if you weld it, it'll end up breaking when you set it on the ground, okay?
I got my weld ticket.
Right, okay, they're Mr. Heavy Equipment. So basically all that I did here is, if you can see on the frame, I got like white marks. That's where the skid plate holes are, where they bolt. They didn't really matter when I started getting into this, but I just fired up the grinder, kind of drew a line where I wanted to start and where I wanted to end, and got to it. It did take a really long time, so I'll just speed this part up for you guys so you don't have to sit through the whole thing.
Look at the mud, eh?
I was waiting to do that for the camera, and you don't set that somewhere where we're not gonna
lose it.
The amount of rust and sand and mud and dirt was unbelievable of what came out of this frame. I really couldn't believe it. So since you guys last saw, I cut the bottom of the frame out. I got a bottle of MIG Mix, you can see down here. So I've been practicing, is this still hot? I've been practicing my welds a little bit. This is kind of a DIY frame repair. What I've done is I basically measured from where this hoist arm butts up to probably about here. So it's like 28 inches. I'm gonna cut the steel that I have, test fit it, and then we're just gonna go through doing a little bit test, doing a little bit test. What inch is that steel that we bought?
I think it's quarter.
Quarter? Cool. So it's 1/4-inch plate. If you guys are trying to do this yourself, it's 1/4-inch plate, and I hope I can explain it enough.
You don't need 1/4-inch plate.
No? You can do it with like 1/8 or 1/16, could you not? So yeah, you can do it with 1/8, 1/16, or 1/4. I don't know why we chose 1/4, but we did. So I'll save you guys the pain of having to watch this whole thing. This was all a complete waste of time. This is me wasting my night, and I will explain that once this time lapse is over. But I decided to leave this in here for you guys, just so you could see that I make mistakes. Everybody does. But here is me wasting, I think, 3 nights of my time. So, enjoy. So basically, the whole beginning of this video is a bust. What welder is this? A 110?
It's a 110, like 90 amp.
So it's just not a hot enough welder to do frame repair. So, and I also went a little overkill with these plates. I could have just welded the bolt onto the plate, not welding the bolt onto a plate. So what I'm gonna do instead, my cousin has a hotter and better welder. I'm gonna take professional welder. So I'm gonna take these pieces of steel that I have. I'm gonna take my skid plate over to his house, and we're gonna line up where the holes are on the skid plate with the steel, drill the steel, weld the bolts onto this, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna set the tranny in the 4 holes that it goes in, bolt it in, and then put it up in and line it up and tack it and hopefully finish weld it. So I did not get to film much at my cousin's house, but this is what we have gotten together. So these welds have actually breached the metal, where my welds did not. So we got passenger side, driver's side. I'm gonna cut the other section of the frame out tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll be able to lay these in and everything should go as planned. All right, side 2 is getting chopped up. I'm gonna go this line to this line, cut out more if I have to. Technically, you guys don't have to do this if you're doing this frame repair. You can just make those caps like I've made and just clean this up flush and weld it on. For me, I wanna cut this side out because I cut that side out. So I'm gonna do it, hopefully be able to get as much of this like sand, dirt, mud, rust, everything that is inside this frame out. And I'm probably gonna get these plates tacked in and hopefully finish welded tomorrow. But I'm gonna get this all out today. So as I'm cutting this other side out, I thought I'd voice over and explain a little bit more about how we made these pieces of steel. So what we did is we actually laid the steel in the skid plate so we knew exactly where the holes had to be. We marked it with a Sharpie and then we drilled them out to, I can't remember what the drill bit was. It was a very weird drill bit because we drilled it out so we could die it or tap it. I can't remember the right one. I'm pretty sure it's die it. Die it with a 1/2 inch 20 die. And then we actually threaded 1/2 inch 20 bolts right into it so they sat flush, because when I drilled them, there was a chance of them like sitting crooked and they might not line up properly. So we threaded them right down in flat and then we welded around them, and that was basically it. Cleaned it up with a flap disc and came back and put them in. So enjoy the rest of this time lapse. You'll see the next part in a second. So at this point in the process, me and my buddy Billy held the skid plate up. My cousin bolted in the 4 bolts that go on the tranny, bolt the skid plate to the tranny, and go over, grab our our sketchy floor jack with a bumper and a block of wood, and we just jack it up in place, make sure it sits where it's supposed to. We did clamp it. I cut that part out because it took us a long time to get the clamps in the right spot, and then he goes around and tacks it. I ended up asking him if he could just tack it in because I wanted to make sure it was done right, and he's actually been a millwright for like 30 years, so he does know what he's doing. But just enjoy the rest of this time lapse. It turned out really good in my eyes. New welder, let's get this frame in. So you guys saw, I'm assuming you saw the video that came out before this one. It was in the midst of all this that I actually got this welder. It was a really good deal. It's a 220, it takes MIG, it gets hot enough, it does everything that we need to do, and it was super good. I'll leave a link for it in the description if you guys are interested. But at this point, I did kind of struggle to do this because I hadn't used a 220 welder. I hadn't used a MIG welder that often. We usually just welded with flux because we mostly just did like patch panels on the Jeep on like the body. But I struggled. It was hard to stand under the vehicle. The outside wasn't that difficult. It was the inside that I struggled with. I actually had to get my dad's buddy to help me when he was helping my dad with the sled. But with the help of my dad's buddy, it actually turned out really well. And we just got to clean it up now. So it's most definitely been like 3 days. But Bill, get the out of here. So after constant, I'll shine a light so you understand. After constant welding and grinding and welding and grinding, I've made this. I'm not even in the autofocus. Yeah, I am.
You want me to hold the flashlight?
Yeah, hold the flashlight. I'll help. Not like that, you stupid. There you go. So I've been able to make it look basically uniform all the way along.
Except for in here.
Don't talk about that. They're not gonna see that. This side as well. Come shine the light over here, Bill. This side looks a lot better. It's very hard to tell on camera, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna set our janky bumper floor jack training support down. We're gonna take the skid plate, bolt it up, and still make sure that these all line up, because if they don't, I just spent 3 days. It's actually been like 2 weeks after work, hasn't it?
Something like that.
If I've spent this much time and it still doesn't line up, I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh, there you go. I know you're hungry.
What?
You haven't seen that video? All right, watch your melon, because this is quite sketchy.
There you go.
I'm in this side, are you in that
Okay,
side?
we'll go up because you're uneven. We'll go up until we're touching the frame. Slowly. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Oh yeah.
Going?
Yep. Keep going.
They all going?
Yep. Are yours going?
Yeah, all mine are in. That back one doesn't look like it's in though. Which way does it gotta go?
Keep,
In?
Go up.
Okay, that's about it. So let's put our...
Oh, I don't want it standing underneath this. Nice.
Is it holding it?
Oh yeah.
Now, let me get... Woo! Take the tripod. So far, bolts are tight, that none of them snapped. I might look into getting a new skid plate because this one's kind of all fuckulated. I'm gonna buzz this off so it's like flush with these ones. Other side, same thing. All looks good. All right, set it down and hope for the best. There you go, you're recording.
Did the whole Jeep just go sideways?
Yeah. On its own way.
There's a lot of buttons on this camera.
Forgot I even had this thing, to be honest.
Jeep?
Yeah, I've just been working on it so much I forgot what it was like to sit in the f***ing seats. Oh, girl, those are expensive.
I'm gonna end this now.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think this is the first time this thing's been on its own 4 wheels in probably a month. Maybe shorter, but everything feels like a month to me. The only thing left is to really take it for a test drive and make sure the geometry is right. Which I know it will be because the center bolts where the tranny bolts to the skid line up perfectly. This was a big job. All I really got to do is put it back in the air, like grind it down again and put a coat of paint on it. Just a couple little things to clean up, but I'm so glad that this is done. I hope you guys stuck with me through it all. It was painless, painful. It was very painful, is what I meant to say. And trust me, when the snow leaves, this thing will be getting a very good wash because it's not clean. But that is all I have for you guys. There was like, I think 2 videos that were made in the making of this one video. We got the new welder and that really helped finalize this. Thank you guys for sticking with me through this project, and only up from here. Everything can just keep getting better. I'll see you guys next time. Boom!